Miramar Martinez is a miracle because she lived. She survived 5 bullets to testify against the man who fired those bullets. She told a House committee last week, as a 30-year-old USA citizen with no criminal history, I believed that I had nothing to worry about. And then she was shot 5 times by Border Patrol agent Charles Exum in an attempt to kill her. Charles Exum then celebrated what is clearly, according to the evidence, an attempted murder. In text messages with his teammates, one of whom told him he was a legend because he shot and almost killed an unarmed American citizen born in this country who committed no crime. Donald Trump's federal prosecutors were forced to drop any charges against Miramar Martinez when the evidence they collected proved that she committed no crime.
The Border Patrol vehicle stopped just 1 to 2 car lengths ahead of me. It seemed like time stopped. I knew from watching the news coverage of other Border Patrol encounters in Chicago that I was in danger. I watched the vehicle of Border Patrol agent killing Silverio Villegas Gonzalez just 3 weeks prior. I knew I had to get to safety before I was dragged from my car and likely beaten or killed. I drove forward and went around the Border Patrol agents, who jumped out of his car and pointed his gun at me. I moved to the far left lane, striking the curb on the far left side of Kedzie. The next thing I knew, I felt a burning sensation in my arms, legs, and that I had been shot by pepper balls, which I also seen these agents fire at people in our community. As I continued to drive past the Border Patrol agents, I could hear my back passenger window shatter, and I felt bullets continue to pierce my body. As I attempted to drive to a safe location, I began to feel lightheaded. I looked down and I noticed blood gushing out of my arms and legs, and I realized I'd been shot multiple times. As I became lightheaded, I became worried I would pass out and endanger other drivers on the road. I managed to drive a mile from where the incident happened, and I pulled into a parking lot of a mechanic shop, and I called 911. I told the 911 operator that Border Patrol agents had just shot me and I needed help. I recall some of the workers from the shop sitting me down in a chair as I was waiting for help, but I was losing this battle. I saw my life flash before me and slowly began to think this was the end for me. And before losing consciousness, the next thing I remember is the EMT putting me on a stretcher, taking me to the hospital. At the hospital, I remember seeing multiple agents standing around, watching me be treated for my wounds. My arms, legs, and chest were all wrapped in bandages. I had 7 bullet holes in my body. I remember the agents rushing the nurses to finish up so they could take me with them. I still felt dizzy. I was not able to fully process what had happened to me. After being at the hospital for less than 3 hours, I was discharged from the hospital and took custody of the FBI.
Here's the newly released body cam video from inside the vehicle Charles Exum was driving that shows how crazed and trigger-happy and dangerous all of the gun-toting agents in that car were every minute they were loose on the streets of Chicago. As you watch this video, the key point of evidence is Charles Exum turning the steering wheel to the left, which meant he was turning his car to swerve into Miramar Martinez's car, which was on his left.
Oh, you won't. That better.
All right, it's time to get aggressive and get the out, because they're trying to box us in.
We're gonna make contact and we're boxed in.
We are boxed in.
All right, that's fine now. All right, out of the car.
Be advised, we've been struck. We've been struck.
Get out. Don't you move. Don't you move. All right, We got shots fired. We need that too. All right.
Joining us now is Christopher Parenti, attorney for Miramar Martinez. Attorney Parenti, those shots are fired pretty much the second he jumps out of that car.
Yeah, by our stopwatch, a little less than 2 seconds, but he fires 5 times immediately.
And this is someone whose story was she tried to swerve her car into us and interfere with us.
Correct. And look, the government fought the release of this discovery for months because they knew once it was out there, the American people would see that the government was clearly lying to them. And, you know, the first lie was the swerving, right? I mean, DHS has consistently said that she rammed that vehicle. You can see in the video that was released that he turns the wheel to the left right before impact, which would be consistent with him hitting her who was on his left. But the agent also was in the discovery that was released. He was interviewed by the FBI immediately thereafter, and he admitted that he veered to the left in order to, quote, create space. So the narrative never made sense, even according to their own evidence. And it wasn't just the fact of who hit whom. They had also claimed that they were boxed in, right? But we found a video from right where that incident happened that clearly showed there was nobody in front of them. And so these agents literally drew a picture for the FBI, and they put 3 cars in front of them to show that they were, quote, blocked in, and therefore they had to get out and shoot. But this video that we released as well as part of this shows that there was no cars in front of them, that they completely made up these 3 vehicles that they drew in a report and turned over to the FBI. And so we would actually like to see them all prosecuted for lying to FBI agents.
So what are the legal remedies now?
So, you know, the U.S. Attorney's Office, to their credit, after, you know, looking at everything and realizing that they've been lied to by the Border Patrol agents, they dismissed the indictment, which is, you know, as a criminal defense attorney, that's always my goal. And that's what we did for Miramar. So now the next step is, you know, they won't stop defaming her. They continue to call her a domestic terrorist. They continue to say, despite what you just saw and all the other evidence, that she rammed them and that she drove at them. So we are now suing them, suing the agency for the Federal Tort Claims Act. And we'll keep fighting because Miramar, to your point earlier, she is a miracle. She is Renee Good. She is Mr. Preddy. She is Silverio Gonzalez. She just happened to survive the bullets that ICE fired at her.
What was it like for you as a criminal defense attorney who I know criminal defense lawyers like to believe their clients. It's not always easy. But with a client like this, it would feel easy right away, this kindergarten teacher telling you this story. But what was it like for you as the evidence piled up, proving that everything she said was true and everything they were saying was a lie?
Yeah, I mean, Lawrence, I was a federal prosecutor for 14 years. I did 10 years in the Chicago office, 4 in Miami. So I knew how a case is supposed to be built, and you don't charge these cases without doing the due diligence up front. And so I met Miramar within seconds. I mean, she's a Montessori school teacher with no criminal history, U.S. citizen, never been in trouble for even a parking ticket. I knew right away that there was something wrong here. And I've never had a case where literally every time I got new discovery from the government, it was completely in our favor. I mean, just showing that these agents were lying. And, you know, I know these prosecutors. I pushed back on them and I said, guys, you need to look at this because you have it wrong. And to their credit, they eventually realized that and dismissed the indictment.
Attorney Christopher Parenti, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.